What is two thumbs and can't go a month without controversy? That guy! I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. I meant to do this last week, but I was fighting a wicked cold, and wouldn't you know, more and more junk started to come in during that week, so in case you missed it somehow, Vince McMahon settled his harassment case out of court and has returned to the board of directors of the WWE, upon which 3 board members were fired and 2 more resigned to make way for Vince and his new cronies. On top of that, Stephanie McMahon stepped down as co-CEO of WWE to get back to spending time with the family, leaving Nick Khan as the only CEO. And not too soon afterwards, he was unanimously voted chairman of the board of directors again. And just from hearing of the comeback, I'm certain there were many a cancellation of Peacock and WWE Network subscriptions. At least first, anyway. Or at least many a threat to cancel. I mean, to many of us, Vince finally hanging it up was the best news we as fans have heard since before the Thunderdome era began. And just the fact that he left creative gave a lot of people a sense of joy and hope that the shows and PLEs would get better. And they did. For a while, anyway. There have been a few bumps since then, but all in all, I think the shows have improved enormously. And the fact that Vince more or less muscled his way back into being the chairman after all these months, that does not bode well for the company. Now, according to Khan, this will not affect the show-to-show business. No return superstars are in jeopardy of getting re-kicked to the curb for now. Triple H is still the chief creative officer and runs how the stories go, and Shawn Michaels will still have a similar job in NXT. Khan has said that nothing will change, and Triple H has reiterated that to the nervous superstars of Raw and SmackDown. But you're dealing with a man whose ego could probably apply for statehood, it's so big. And he's a man who wants to have his hands in as many pies as possible, even if sticking his hands in said pies make them much more disgusting and inedible. You honestly think he's going to let his son-in-law control everything going forward? Sooner or later, he's going to want to have a voice in creative. And he'll get it no matter how loudly we yell that we don't. And one of the major points people are making about Vince's return is not so much that he wants to get back in the business, but that he wants to sell the business. This was hinted at a few years ago when ratings were tanking and rumors flew that Vince was considering a sale. While Khan says that there is no sale imminent, Vince has been talking to people about the possibility of them buying him out. Seems now, 22 years later, he has a vague idea how Ted Turner must have felt. But the sale of WWE may not be a bad thing. I mean, it does depend on who the buyer is. If it's a big corporation like NBC Universal or Fox Disney, it might work out much like the WCW did in its heyday. And let's face it, NBC would be a great choice because, well, they do show most of the content on TV these days. Between Raw, NXT, and the PLEs on Peacock, they have quite a racket going. The WWE made the deal with NBC to get them out of the red during the pandemic. They might as well go all the way. Although Disney Fox isn't too bad either. After all, the Performance Center is a hop, step, and a jump from Disney World. Some of the rumored buyers, however, got people very nervous, especially a Saudi group included in the list. Everyone freaked when that became a possibility because for all the money the Saudis give the WWE for the 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year in the country, it is still a country where human rights, particularly female and LGBTQAI+ rights, are virtually non-existent. If they get a hold of the WWE, You can say goodbye to the women's division for the most part, and a few superstars who are openly gay will be immediately sent packing. At least, that's what the rumors mills say. Maybe they'll just give financial assistance and increase the PLEs in their country to at least 4. In any case, it still may not be the best of choices. But I'll tell you what the worst choice may be, though, and it just may be what will inevitably happen. It's no surprise that AEW has been grabbing the cast-off WWE superstars while Vince was cost-cutting and making them into big stars. You know, not unlike TNA Impact did, right? And it's also not surprising that AEW has been doing fairly well ratings-wise against WWE. First, they pushed NXT from Wednesday to Tuesday nights, and now they're giving SmackDown a run for its money on Friday nights. So does that mean a sale to AEW is in store? Has WWE become what WCW was in 2001? Word is the other con would love the idea of a merger and would definitely keep Vince on as an executive role. I begin to wonder if that means he'll clean the executive bathroom. I mean, that's what I would do if I bought it from Vince. In any case, rumors have been flying like superstars off the top of the War Games cage for the past few weeks. We don't know if Vince will try to get back into creative, or if and when he'll sell the company. All we know is Vince is back in the saddle again. And we can only hope the horse known as WWE doesn't get turned into glue. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blog who always tells it like it is. Stay safe, pray for peace, and I'll see ya